Almost every year in the civil service exam, you get one or two questions from the Straits and Gulf's part in the map reading, my dear friends. So in this video, I'm going to give you a list of important straits, also helping you identify right now as I train you in the video. I'll help you identify some of the important straits and help you also remember it, so that the questions from Straits are handled really well by you. Is that okay, my dear friends? Vinay Kumar here, international NLP and IAS coach. So like I told you, my dear friends, let me begin by first explaining to you what straits mean. Okay, strait is a narrow passage of water that separates two water bodies. Okay, two water bodies are getting separated by this narrow passage of water. Now, these two water bodies are more or less at the same level. Okay, the two water bodies that get separated from the strait are almost at the same level from the sea floor, whereas the strait may become very shallow. Wherever we have the strait, it may become very shallow, or it may be at almost the same depth as the two water bodies that it separates. Is that okay, my dear friends? So one clear thing that you have to come into terms with, one very clear thing that you have to come into terms with reference to strait is, a strait is actually in between two land masses. It's between two land masses separating two bodies of water. Are you connecting to what I'm trying to tell you? For example, why I had to tell you this was, I don't think such a question may come in the exam, but if at all it comes, whether strait actually separates two land bodies or two water bodies, I'll have to say it's two water bodies, my dear friends. Even though this water body that is getting separated by a strait may actually belong to the same ocean. Okay, for example, if you take the case of Mediterranean Sea, it's part of the Atlantic Ocean, my dear friends. Or if you take the Red Sea, it's part of Indian Ocean. Okay, it's part of the whole, but still you can see there are straits that is separating it from rest of the ocean. Are you connecting to what I'm trying to tell you, my dear friends? So straits are narrow passages of water that separates two water bodies, and it is generally in between two land masses. It's in between land masses. People think it is separating two land masses. No, actually it is this land mass, anywhere where the land mass is slightly getting depressed and again continuing as another continent. In this depressed portion, there is this narrow passage of water which is separating this mass of water from this mass of water. Now that is a strait. Is that okay, my dear friends? So a good way to understand strait is, straits are narrow passages of water that separates two water bodies and exists between two land masses. Fair enough. Now, can we use words like channel, passage, or like it is called in some parts of United Kingdom, like a firth? Can we use such words to call a strait? Yes, we can. If the people of that region have called it by themselves, which means what? Don't use these words interchangeably. If people have called something as passage, you also call it as passage. Is that okay, my dear friends? Nevertheless, the meanings of all these terms are the same. Okay. Having said that, now can we use the term canal also? Because many places we see terms like Suez Canal or Panama Canal. Can we use the word canal as well? No, you can't. Canal and strait are generally different. Why I use the word generally, I'll tell you right away. I'll tell you. Canal is artificial. It's a man-made waterway. It's a man-made navigable waterway, my dear friends. Is that okay? But then, are there places where people have chosen to call a strait, which is a natural waterway, as a canal? Yes, they have. there is a canal there's a canal close to British Columbia, Canada, where you have the US-Canadian border. There's a canal by name Pierce Canal, P-E-A-R-S-E. That is actually a strait, my dear friends. It's a natural water body, but it's been called a canal. And if people there have chosen to call it like that, why me and you have to call it some other, I mean, why we will have to describe it in some other way? So remember this, my dear friends. So there are exceptions like this, but generally, you know now, strait is a natural navigable waterway or natural passage, and canal is generally artificial and man-made. Is that clear, my dear friends? Let us just look into one more question. Why straits are important? Why we have to know them? I mean, why civil service exam ask questions from the important straits of the world year after year? Number one, not all straits are important from the point of view of preparation for civil service exam. Not all the straits are important. There may be hundreds of straits, but we don't have to know everything, my dear friends. We have to know those straits where the traffic is very high, where we have the important SLOCs, sea lanes of communication. Are you connecting to what I'm trying to tell you, my dear friends? Okay. So these straits become all the more important. We will have to know for sure those straits where traffic is disproportionately high, and also because of their strategic location, geopolitically they assume significance. When I say geopolitically they assume significance, what I mean is, my dear friends, choking these narrow water passages by a massive power, you know, by some superpower in the world, can mean significant impact to the world economy at large, or the world political scenario at the large. Getting that, my dear friends? Okay. So this is why we have to know all the important straits of the world. So from the I've studied very well the pattern in which straits have been asked by the UPSC, my dear friends, and I've also extrapolated based on that. I've also projected what other straits can be asked by UPSC. Thereby I'm giving you a list of straits which will be super useful to you for use in civil service exam. Nevertheless, I would say this is not an exhaustible list of straits. There may be much more straits that I may have not mentioned in this class for you. And know this, they may be less important. And by chance, if something is important for the exam, not just as geographers, you are civil service exam aspirants, know this. Okay. So if something is important and by chance I would have missed it, please do mention that in the comment box below, so that there is an exhaustive list of important straits for every one of us to study. Is that okay, my dear friends? Thank you. Now, let me start with the most important region from where maximum questions will come with reference to straits. Do you have your atlas ready right there? If you have it, you can do it along with this video, my dear friends. It will be a training session for you. Okay, can you please quickly go and get the atlas? Quickly, fast, pause the video, go and get it. All right, thank you. Now, okay, go to the map of Asia, my dear friends. Did you go there? Awesome. Can you see the Strait of Bab al-Mandeb? Strait of Bahabal Mandeb. I'll have to, give due credit to my first geography mentor, Srijit here, because he was the one who instilled this great passion in me for map reading. And this was the first question he asked me. So I always start from here, my dear friends. And nevertheless, for your exam, it is super important, this strait. It has already come so many times and it keeps coming again and again. Bab al-Mandeb Strait. Can you see that quickly? In the map of Asia, my dear friends, can you see it between Red Sea and Gulf of Aden? You got it? Red Sea and Gulf of Aden. That is the Strait of Bahabal Mandeb. If you see, this forms an important navigable waterway, my dear friends, connecting Americas and Europe to Africa and Asia. It all starts with that Strait of Gibraltar. Strait of Gibraltar. Both ways it can be pronounced. Entering into Mediterranean Sea, and there's an artificial Suez Canal being created. Continue further, you find this awesome strait, geopolitically very very important strait because it handles a lot of traffic in hydrocarbons, my dear friends, both raw and processed. Is that okay? So this is the Babel Mandeb Strait. I hope you got it, my dear friends. Fantastic, superb. Now just above that, uske upar, if you just go up, my dear friends, you'll see one more strait, very very important strait from geopolitical perspective, Strait of Hormuz. US keeps threatening that we'll choke this strait to, anyway, in US own terms, those countries which are belligerent with US, it keeps warning, see, I'm going to choke this strait. The Strait of Hormuz, can you see that, my dear friends? It's separating the water bodies of Persian Gulf and Gulf of Oman. Do you get that? Got it? Superb, my dear friends. Very good. First, remember these two straits. These two are like the most important straits of all the straits that you're going to learn, my dear friends. Fantastic. Now, there are these straits that I'm going to make mention of. You may not find it in the atlas because atlas cannot give you an exhaustive list of, atlas cannot help you with all the straits that are there, my dear friends, owing to space, all those things. But please know this, because we are close to these straits and they're important, I would first like to mention about these straits. Can you see that Sea of Azov, my dear friends? AZOV, Sea of Azov, near Turkey. Did you get that? Very good. Can you see Black Sea? Sea of Azov is getting connected to Black Sea like this. And after the Black Sea, you have the Sea of Marmara. Can you see Sea of Marmara? Probably many atlases might have not shown it, my dear friends. Might. Okay. But if you're getting all the three, very good. Another important another important waterway that's connecting you to important hydrocarbon regions of the world, petroleum and gas, regions of the world, my dear friends. Okay. Sea of Azov is connected to Black Sea by which strait? See there and tell me quickly. Tell me as in you say there. It's okay. Strait of Kerch. Strait of Kerch. Okay. Then from Black Sea to Sea of Marmara, we have a beautiful strait, my dear friends. You must visit it once in your lifetime. Strait of Bosphorus. Strait of Bosphorus. It's an amazing, it's an amazing view from the strait. You have some magnificent structures, my dear friends. Okay. Bosphorus, an important waterway from the perspective of hydrocarbon trade. Okay. And then after the Sea of Marmara, you have the Strait of Dardanelles. Strait of Dardanelles. You may not find all the straits there mentioned, but you please write it down. Not in the atlas, my dear friends, outside of it. If you have that stick note, please stick it there and write it down, my dear friends. Put a stick note in that page of atlas. Draw Azov Sea, draw Black Sea, and draw Sea of Marmara and all these straits. First comes, they will actually give you exactly that. In exam, you will exactly get this image and they would have given you A, B, C, D, match it with the straits. So you must know it. Strait of Kerch, Strait of Bosphorus, and Strait of Dardanelles. Clear, my dear friends? Thank you. Now, if you are clear with that, superb. We'll go to the other important straits. One more important strait of the world. Strait of Malacca. In fact, the Strait of Malacca was the piracy capital of the world. This is where a lot of pirates used to be there. Those people who attacked the huge ships and loot and all that. Now the problem is very high near the Babel Mandeb Strait. Okay, Babel Mandeb, the Somalian waters and all that, my dear friends. But back then it used to be here. Okay, so Strait of Malacca, you got it? It's between the Sumatra Highland of Indonesia and the Peninsular Malaysia. Peninsular Malaysia, Sumatra Highland of Indonesia. Peninsular Malaysia is ending at Singapore. I mean, Singapore is a highland. You have the strait here called Strait of Malacca. Don't confuse it with Molucca Passage. Molucca Passage is different. It's slightly, to the east of it, my dear friends. Are you connecting to what I'm trying to tell you? I'll come to that also. I'll come to that. They are also important passages only. But first, did you get Malacca? Just check out, my dear friends. Got it? Superb, fantastic, my dear friends. Now, know these three straits after that. These are, I think, important, my dear friends, any day. Important not because there are some major navigable waterways and all that, but somehow UPSC likes it because they're there separating countries very prominently. You have the Torres, Torres, Torres Strait, Bass Strait, and the Cook Strait. This can also come as an image asking you which are these straits. Australia with Papua New Guinea, which is the strait? Very good. Torres Strait. Australia with Tasmania. Okay, Australia with Tasmania. We have the Bass Strait. And between the North and South Island of New Zealand, we have the Cook Strait. Captain Cook, one of the greatest voyager. He actually must have discovered this strait for the first time, named after him. So Torres, Bass, and Cook. All right, superb, my dear friends. Now, if you go slightly up, upper to Torres Strait, you will find number of important straits. You have to know them because that can again come as a question in image or find the incorrect pair. There are these islands of Indonesia. Indonesia, as you know, is an archipelago of more than 5,000 islands, my dear friends. But then you have these important, the major islands of Indonesia are separated by these straits. And you have to just know these 4 or 5 important straits. Can you see the Makassar Strait, my dear friends? Makassar. You got that? Just see to the right of Borneo. Very good. Now, if you see to the right of it, you will find Molucca Passage. Molucca Passage. You got it? Still to the right, you will see Dampier Strait. You got that? Dampier Strait. Very good. Superb. Okay. All right. And if you go up to Japan, you'll find 2 important straits. The Tsugaru Strait and the Tsushima Strait. Tsugaru Strait separates Hokkaido Island of Japan from the Honshu Island of Japan. Remember the Tsugaru Strait. Japan and Russia are separated by the La Perouse Strait and the Soya Strait. La Perouse Strait and the Soya Strait. Got that? Superb, my dear friends. Very good. Now, if you have got all these straits, superb, well and good. Let's go to North America. I have some important things to share with you there. See, Mediterranean Sea, you have so many straits, my dear friends. After the Strait of Gibraltar, as you go in the Mediterranean Sea, you will see straits like Strait of Messina, Strait of Bonifacio, Strait of Otranto and all that. That's all fine. But these straits that I'm making a mention of, concentrate more on them. Okay. Now, come to the North America. Can you see Strait of Florida? It's important because that's where the Gulf Stream comes out. I mean, till it comes out of that strait, it's just called Florida current. After it comes out, it becomes a Gulf Stream warm current, my dear friends. Okay. So know this. Strait of Florida, any day is an important strait. Florida is important for so many things. You have the rocket launching center of NASA in Florida. Where is it? Superb, you got it right. Cape Canaveral. If you didn't get it, see there, Cape Canaveral. See the physical map, if it's not there in the political. Got it? Very good. Now, what happens, UPSC can trick you into answering questions like this. It can say, Mona Passage separates Dominican Republic from United States of America. You think, hey, where is Dominican Republic? Where is USA? Oh, no strait here. This is wrong. No. Actually, Mona Passage separates Dominican Republic from Puerto Rico, which is a part of USA. If you go and see in the atlas, it would be written there, Puerto Rico, and in the bracket it will be written USA. Are you connecting to what I'm trying to tell you? Perfect. So be careful about in one of my video, in one of my previous videos, just 2 videos before this, my dear friends, I have made a video on how to prepare for prelims in 50 days. I say my first point there, God lies in the details. Be aware, be present to the details, my dear friends. Is that okay? Very good. So if you come this side, they can ask you one more question. Cuba and Haiti are separated by Windward Passage. Yes, it is Windward Passage. So Mona Passage and Windward Passage are 2 other important straits there, my dear friends. And you should never forget the Magellan Strait to the south of South America, my dear friends. In fact, this was the strait by which the great traveler who went around the world first time, who went around the whole circumference of the world for the first time, actually went through. Magellan Strait to the south of South America. Can you see that, my dear friends? Okay. You should see exactly where it is. What are the 2 land bodies on the either side? Got that? Superb. 2 other important straits I would like to introduce for you now. This is also something that you will get confused with, my dear friends. You know where is Davis Strait? Good, you got it right. Between Canada and Greenland. They'll ask you a question. Most of you know Greenland and Iceland, they are adjacent to each other. They'll ask you, where is Denmark Strait? Of course, UPSC won't ask you where is Denmark Strait. It will say, find the incorrect pair or match the following, Denmark Strait. Fine. Denmark Strait, you will be wondering, hey, Denmark Strait should be somewhere near Denmark and Netherlands or Denmark and Norway. You must be thinking like that. But actually, Denmark Strait is between Greenland and Iceland. Now you must be wondering, sir, why Denmark Strait there? Greenland is part of Denmark. Remember this, my dear friends. Probably your eyes would have not caught it till now, but today when you're seeing the atlas right away, you can see in Greenland in the bracket it will be written Denmark. Is that okay, my dear friends? Denmark Strait is there, it's not in Europe. Clear? Superb. Okay, so having said this, my dear friends, one more important strait for now in this class that I would like to do is the St. George Channel and the English Channel between the UK and France. UK and France, yeah, UK and France. Perfect, my dear friends. Clear? So this is, like I told you, my dear friend, this is not an exhaustive list of straits. There are so many other straits, and in my subsequent videos on straits, I'll be introducing some of them to you. Okay, the most important ones from the perspective of your needs for exam, I've tried to deal with in this class, my dear friends. If you find any other important strait, please do mention in the comment box so that we have an exhaustive list of important straits for civil service exam. See, for exam, it's not only important that we read a lot of things, it's also important that we don't read things that are so very important from exam perspective. Is that okay, my dear friends? So anything that you find as important for exam, you may please mention in the comment section. Thank you very much, my dear friends, for learning from here. Hope you had a great learning experience. See you all in my next video. Thank you.